Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tiger Eye. We've got a great episode for you this week. Anthony is taking a closer look at senioritis and how it's affecting Ford. I'm doing a deep dive on our varsity soccer team, and Max is giving us some insight into this election season. But first, some announcements. Make sure to scan the QR code on the screen if you would like to participate in our Tiger Nation raffle. Wednesday is the last day to get your prom tickets, so fill out the form and get them now. Now, let's give it to Anthony.
As winter comes to a close and the worst of flu season along with it, many might be tempted to let out a collective sigh of relief, comforted by the thought that coughs, headaches, and sniffles are far behind them. But as the school year creeps closer to an end and winter turns to spring, a new epidemic is beginning to make its way through the upperclassmen of Fred D. Ford: senioritis. What is senioritis, however? For senior Lizzie Ramo and Fred D. Ford's own expert in the topic, Lorraine Zaparito, it's a feeling of being both ready and nervous for what comes next.
It's ready for a developmental task to be over, but not quite realizing that there's loose ends that need to happen, that there's still tests that need to be completed before you can move on to the next challenge of like a video game, if you think about it.
To me, senioritis is the feeling of you're almost over and now you're struggling to keep going. You're like, I'm almost done, I gotta like push through. But it's also the feeling of like being nervous for what's coming next.
While there may still be things that need to get done for teacher Jason Stewart, after 13 years of school, the light at the end of the tunnel helps make some seniors forget that.
Well, they've just been in school for 13 years and they're just like, they're looking ahead and see the end of the tunnel and they're ready to get out. And so they're just like wanting to kind of cruise by and be a little bit lazy.
My second year in teaching, which was 31 years ago, I started teaching seniors and I've seen it ever since. I think it's just a mentality after seniors have been in school for almost 13 years. They're ready to move on to the next phase of their life.
However, being in school for so long, along with all of the work, extracurriculars, and relationships that come with it, have a tendency to burn some seniors out. However, one should not mistake the symptom for the disease.
I think burnout and senioritis are different things, right? Burnout is really when you feel like you're exhausted, you don't have much supports to deal with whatever the stressors are, that you kind of withdraw because of that. Senioritis is a culmination of lots of different things, right? Burnout might be a component of that, but not the whole entire thing.
A lot of people are going into these extracurriculars because they want to go to college and because they want it to look good on college stuff. So it could be like a thought of like, oh, I hope I've done enough. But another thing is with motivation, you could get burnt out really quickly.
Oh, anyone can burn out, no matter what it is. I mean, you can do something for so long and still get burnt out doing it, even if you love doing it or not.
Burnout, however, isn't the only thing that can be a cause of senioritis. Environmental factors, like how one was raised, can be a contributing factor to the condition as well.
It's just different human personalities, and then some of it could be factors at home or maybe how their parents have raised them or how they've been brought up to finish strong or complete the job the best you can, regardless of knowing that you're going to graduate either way.
However, not all is lost for underclassmen wishing to finish their time here at school strong. There are things that one can do to keep senioritis at bay.
I would say don't start trying too late. Like, try to get an early start on things. You don't have to have it all figured out when you're a junior or sophomore, but maybe just start thinking about it.
Just don't stress themselves. Everybody's ready to graduate, but you gotta make the most of it. Make the most of high school. Don't stress about it. Be relaxed and do your own little thing.
I think the main thing is keep your head in the game, but plan for the next level. It's exciting, and you'll get through it. You will, I promise.
Thanks, Anthony. It's hard for all of us to push through the second semester, or at least it is for me. I hope our seniors can fight off the senioritis until graduation. Some of our senior soccer players might be feeling a little bit of that themselves. This week, I talked to some about the atmosphere that soccer season can create and their experience over their years of playing. For senior player Diana Papahuerta, It's the feeling she gets when taking the ball up the field to fulfill her position as midfielder.
A little bit of an adrenaline rush because, like, you get a possibility of, like, almost scoring at some points whenever you're driving a ball up.
For the parent of 2 varsity players, Krista Akel, she pushes her daughters to be in soccer as well as other sports for more than just athleticism.
I think it provides them with positive things that they can use in other areas of their life other than just in a team sport.
For the team, everyone is crucial. Sophomore player Kristen Whitman, as well as coach Stan Elliott, explains the complexity of making the team the best it can be.
Everybody has their different positions, like their different jobs, and it doesn't work if everybody doesn't do their jobs.
You know, sometimes you're going to fall short of your goals, but you self-reflect, reassess, and say, all right, what can I do different next time in order to reach those goals?
With good feelings and highs of the games, players have also gained the skill of how to face a mistake made in a play that's discussed in class by others.
Just have to not pay attention because they're not playing right now. Like, they don't know like how the game was, like what was happening.
Players as well as coaches all make sure to check in with one another to keep each player and therefore the team in the right headspace.
Just checking in, you know, whether it's, you know, you might notice somebody might be a little bit off, they're not smiling as much as they used to. So it's having that conversation like, hey, you all right? Everything go good, you know? And it's just, you know, you get to know players, and I think that's important. That's the beauty of this job, and, you know, why I keep on coming back for more.
We do really just help each other, calm each other down, because like during a game, you just don't want to be stressed because it can really affect the way you play and affect the way the others around you also play. So yeah, we do help each other a lot.
Practicing after school and playing 2 games a week takes a toll on the mind and body.
It's time consuming. It's taxing on the body and mind. It's a tough season, especially with this conference we're in, and even non-conference. We go after some of the top teams in the state, so it's a challenge.
Part of the fun for Deanna is what she overcomes and pushes herself to achieve throughout the season.
Honestly, it's playing. I like the competition. I like being competitive. I like going like one-on-one against somebody. I like the body on contact, all of that. I like it, yeah.
For Coach Elliott, as well as the players, a love comes with the territory of playing.
I think you got to have a passion for the game. You know, I think you got to love being around it.
Like, I love playing. Like, after I get a little break, I'm like ready to start playing again.
Actually, I feel happier, when I'm playing, because like it's a sport I enjoy playing. I don't think I'd feel down. I think it would just like depend on the games and how one feels afterwards.
Putting her daughters in soccer at the age of 4, Krista stays dedicated to being there as much as possible for the games.
I mean, as a parent, you can only do your best. And I think that all parents try to do their best. So for me, that's just being present at whatever events I can be present at. Because I think that shows them that I care about what they're doing in their life. And I think that's what any kid wants.
Recently, Super Tuesday passed, and Max is telling us more about it.
Nearly 248 years ago, America was established on a set of beliefs. One of those beliefs was that people should choose their government. That's why I'm here at Bethel Church, where, as of noon today, over 200 people have cast their vote in 2024's primary election.
In our government and our republic, everybody ought to be participating in it to make it work right.
Volunteering was one way that Anna Hall and Andrew Neal helped to make sure that it worked right.
I thought that it would be really interesting to see the democratic process in action, to have the opportunity to contribute to the community, but also to exercise our right to vote.
It's really interesting. It's kind of a blessing because I'm getting to meet a lot of people of the community. I live right down the road, and I'm getting to meet a lot of people that I've never met before, and everybody's super. It's a really nice community.
Setting up everything for the community to vote takes a lot of work.
We were here at 5:45 setting up. We were here last night setting up the polls, and then returned at 5:45 this morning to set everything up before the polls opened at 6:30. We'll be here until 7:30, and then we have to tear everything down.
With all this work to make sure everyone is able to vote, people we talked to had one overwhelming point of advice.
I guess the best thing to do some research, please. Don't vote like mom and dad did if that's not the way you feel. Do the research. That's the best you can do.
Do a little research on the candidates. I mean, even here in the primary, there were a lot of candidates on the ballot. You really got to look at their websites, look on Facebook, you know, and try to learn what people are thinking about, and find people who line up with what you believe and what you think should be the direction for our county, your state, and our federal government.
Do your research ahead of coming so that you are well prepared to vote for the candidates that best represent your viewpoint and represent you and represent your community and things that are important to you.
After researching the candidates, voters decided which candidate most closely aligned with their ideals and would move America in that direction.
I voted my conscience, and I was free to vote the way I wanted to vote. I'm not sure, I don't like autocratic society, never have.
We've got a lot of leaders in there now that I don't feel are the best for the country, and I want to make sure that my voice is heard to, you know, to get the people in there that I want, that I think will do the best for our country.
Primaries have a lower turnout than general elections, but at Bethel Church, there was a steady flow of voters.
We were here very early setting up and just kind of waiting for there to be a little bit of a break in the action. We've actually had a very steady flow of voters.
When I went inside, it seems like there's been a pretty good turnout today, which sometimes for the primaries you don't get a big turnout, wait for the general election, but I'm pretty happy everybody's coming out, or seems like they are anyway.
To keep things moving smoothly, it takes a lot of work.
Catawba County's got a good plan, and it works really well.
It's just a real great sense of accomplishment seeing the whole process from beginning to end.
That process that keeps America's democracy leaves only one thing left to do.
Definitely get out and vote. Exercise your right.
You have the opportunity to have a say. If you don't take that opportunity, you're kind of missing out on being part of the process.
Please go out and vote. It's not real hard. I live 2 miles from here. But if I live 20, I'd still vote, you know?
The general election will be held on Tuesday, November 5th. So if you'll be eligible then, make sure to register so you can place your vote in 2024's general election.
Now it's time for this week's Wins with Wyant.
Hi, I'm Ethan Wyant, and I'm here with Coach Willis. So Coach Willis, what's your win for this week?
My win for this week, Easton, is the impactfulness that FCA has had on all of the student athletes in the school.
All right, that is it for this. Wins with Wyant. Heather, back to you.
Well, that's all for this episode, and we'll see you the next.